Hello. Let me remove the consume screen. Welcome to everybody. This is the first tree. It's an indie game that I've been interested for a while now. I've seen like a video from the developer actually explaining how tough it is to create indie games and whatnot. And he used this game as like a reference, basically. So I wanted to check out because of that video. I became very interested in the game and I want to really check it out. Like immediately the first sign of what is that if I click anywhere else, it minimizes the game for me. So that's gonna be a bit annoying. Like I'm gonna go in and see if there's anything in the settings to change that. But it seems like it's the type of game to just immediately start. Hold on, let me put all my stuff here correctly. Okay, let's just get started. I know nothing about the plot of the game. Okay, there is stuff. Come on, window mode. Oh no! Oh, that was pretty bad. Never mind that. Subtitles, yes. Resolution, sure. Very high, not ultra high. Entity layers, sure. I think that's good. Okay, doesn't seem to be a controller game. So let's just get started. Look at the foxes. I love this.
Are you awake? I thought I heard you get up.
Yeah, I'm awake. Sorry, I just can't sleep.
Are you thinking about him?
Yeah, a bit. You should get back to sleep, my love. I'm fine.
No, it's okay. What else is on your mind?
I don't know. It seems weird, but I had one of the most vivid dreams of my life. I saw a fox on a snowy mountain, just looking confused and worried. Those eyes. I can't get those eyes out of my head. She was running in the windy snow, looking for something.
Do you think it has to do with you and what's been going on?
I don't know. It was just a dream, Rachel. They're not meant to make sense. A lot's happened the past couple days, that's all.
Well, if you're not going to sleep anyway, you should tell me. I want to hear.
All right.
No.
So, not far from her home, she followed that path to something unexpected.
First off, let me increase sensitivity a little bit.
She couldn't stay, though. She had to find her other two children. So she took that path. She followed it towards something ancient. Something with answers.
That's the destination, I guess.
Fox looked high and low, searching for any sign of her cubs. Points of light showed the way to this ancient tree. It was as if each one had a story to tell, all their own. The land was trying to tell my story, too. I felt like I was right behind her the whole time.
Follow the lights. Follow the lights and you will find your way. No bunnies. No. I can chase the bunny. I guess that's another thing that I can just do. You never go. It's scary. That they are this little guy. Let's get to the first point of interest. Movement is a little bit janky. Kind of janky. Oh yeah, that's definitely a better or something. This isn't just like this box is definitely meant for something. Hold on, let me check the audio. It is loud. It is pretty loud. Hold on, I don't have anyone telling me this kind of stuff, so I need to have the habit of checking it on my own. It's still loud. Lower it even more. It's a loud game. It's still a little bit loud. I'm lowering it so much. Let's go. Something like this should be acceptable levels at this point. There we go. Where do I actually go? There is lights all over the place, so I guess you just need to go and gather all of them up. That place looks interesting. Let's go and check what's there. Seems like a frozen waterfall or something like that. Or and how everything reflects off of the snow is really nice. Although it's still pretty clear there. I mean the game, but maybe I like the new person.
Usually those kids would leave me alone, but somehow they could tell I was different. They made fun of how far away I lived. They called my dad a sourdough. I was a blabbermouth as a kid, telling my dad stories I made up for hours. But after that show and tell, I didn't tell him much anymore. He didn't know exactly what was wrong, but his best guess was that the toys he carved weren't cool enough. He carved me a tank and tried to tell me what it was like to be in a real tank as a
This is the
serviceman.
thing.
I didn't know your dad was in the military.
Yeah, in the army. The sad thing is that I've pretty much forgotten until just now. There's so much I still don't know about him.
I'm sorry. He knows how much you love him. You're going to see him again soon and have some closure, I'm sure.
I guess this is this is more of a narrative experience rather than a gameplay or one. What people call walking simulators, I guess, which can be done very well if the developers know what they're doing. Oh, there's something up top. It's a light. Go get it. but for being required to get the stuff you need. Or maybe it's just because it's the first area. Maybe it's gonna increase in next to the more we go on. So another coin. Okay. So I can see stuff here. Let's go pick up the thing right over there. Good thing there's no fall damage, because I would have died. And it feel like the tree was over in that direction. So let's check this first. It's gonna be a lot of silence this thing, because there really isn't much to say when it comes to this game. It's probably not even such a good game to stream, but like it's so early on in my streaming experience, I don't think it matters that much what I stream. So that's probably good enough. Probably gonna fill the silence with my inane ramblings. But we are seeing here fragments of the main character's memory, I guess. The fox represents physical near herself. So all these events that he's talking about. Amen. But maybe it represents his soul, or like the journey of her person. It could be something along these lines. It's all very good stuff, I guess.
Do you remember what my dad did for a living?
Wasn't he like a lumberjack?
That's one way of putting it. If wood was a canvas, then a carving knife was his paintbrush. Even after working a 50-hour week, even after his hands were more splinters than skin, he would bring home the nicest piece of Alaskan weeping cedar and make me toys. That wooden train was the first toy I can remember, and I loved it. I just knew from a young age I was going to be a lumberjack, like my father.
Lumberjack. All this takes place in the forest, the trees. Maybe just called the first tree. Get up, get up, get up. Oh my god. Need to put do not disturb on my Discord, because it's gonna be very annoying if I keep getting these notifications.
As a kid, did you ever do show and tell in your class?
Yeah, I think I only did it once, when I was in the 4th grade. You know how my life was around then. I wanted to show my class what helped pass the time and distracted me, so I brought a dozen paper cranes I had made. I think I told everyone how badly I wanted to be a bird and fly, embarrassingly enough.
Don't be embarrassed. Every kid wants to fly. For me, it was another toy from my dad, a wooden boat. I remember guarding it so carefully in my hands as I walked into class. When I sat down, a group of boys immediately made fun of it. They asked which trash can I found it in, or why an ugly log was my favorite toy. When I got up, I didn't even want to tell them my dad had carved it. I said it was a joke gift my friends had given me.
Kids can be so cruel.
Some of them are. I shouldn't have let them get to me, but it did. It's amazing we bounced back at all.
Kids are absolutely awful, honestly. I don't know where this idea of kids are innocent comes from, but the more I look at kids and I see how fucking awful they act, like, innocence is something that you learn. Like, at least being a good person is something that you learn. Kids don't know it. Kids are awful. I don't know. That's my current theory about, stuff like morality. It's like it's a learned trait. We're not naturally good because when you look at children and they're very awful when they're young. Well, it depends on the child, I guess. But like this, it feels like there's so many children who are just awful to others. Like who knows? Obviously, I don't know. I don't know if we're innately doing. I just really see how ideal the children are automatically innocent, and the way it goes is just very, very much natural. There's more rabbits. They're just scared they're ever going to come up. Game is gonna be just a lot of walking around. The space could have been not this big if it's just gonna be mostly empty. Maybe there is a point to all this. What is this shack over here? Look around and get all of the lights. I imagine that's how you get these stories. Like it's probably gonna be a little bit difficult given how big the environment is. It's just how slow around it is. It's a cool bus over here. It's probably some sort of trauma associated with it if it's in this like mind space over there. Let's go on further ahead.
The older I got, the more I withdrew. I asked myself, why talk to anybody anyway? Why bother when I'm happy by myself? I started drawing a lot, mostly animals I saw in the woods by my home. I then imagined designing my own hideouts with things like TVs and pantries full of chips and cookies. I think that idea of leaving home and drawing blueprints started my career. I found a lot of solace in that.
I'm not surprised, but I did the same thing, you know? There's something special about having a place to call your own.
And now look at us. Well, if you count renting in an overpriced city.
It's as close as we can get for now.
Said his dad was in the military. I guess that these are his badges of honor. And his badges, of course. This is American. Is that a nice? Oh, it's somewhere completely different now. I hope I got everything in the last area. This area looks pretty nice.
My teenage years were full of sketching, angst, and trouble. I wasn't popular or unpopular. Maybe just forgettable. I guess that gave me a sense of freedom, so I hung out with crazy kids, doing crazy things, even though I mostly just watched the chaos ensue. We did it all. Put fireworks in mailboxes, hide roadkill in people's garages, break windows of the barber shop in Anchorage. My dad was furious, but he was so busy working he couldn't do much to stop me from going out.
I think being an adult means there's no one to stop you making hard decisions. He had to make a living, and he couldn't be in two places at once.
Yeah, I realize that now. But at the time, I was sure he was more interested in growing his business than what was going on with me.
Oh, what is this now?
He was working another late night, and my friends were over, saying how bored they were and how they'd come all the way out to my house for nothing. One of them mentioned how that old, ugly beyond belief truck was still in the garage, and how we should take it for a spin.
Oh no.
I was only 15, so I kind of fought it for a while. The next thing I knew, we were careening around the mountain path, rocks spitting onto the sides of the cliff, while my dad's cringeworthy bluegrass blared out the speakers. I drove while my friends were in the back of that yellow and purple truck, throwing beer bottles and trash at anything remotely interesting. Felt like I was soaring in the air with borrowed wings. But all good things have endings. A cop outside of Eagle River pulled us over after he saw us in a bottle rocket into someone's yard. What followed was a long night of talking to disappointed adults and feeling smaller than ever.
I can almost see the marks title on the shore of the something. Author Lake. Police station. I'm not sure what it is. Some sort of plan. I thought it was like a play or something, but like it doesn't seem like it given anything else on here. It almost looks like a police investigation. There's a sneaky few pieces of light here to this. So some kind of fear, I guess. It's more of it after all. Oh. Ah. Okay, I messed it up. They gave me special power and I couldn't use it correctly. Okay. Let's go further up. See any other light here. Ah. Yeah, I need to go get the butterflies again. They're helping me fly further up. One of them is flying backwards. cannot even jump like far distances.
After he drove me home from the police station, I blew up at him, saying how I never wanted to be like him, how I was gonna be someone and leave that hick icebox for good. He just looked forward at the road with tired eyes. I took out that bluegrass tape from the cassette deck and chucked it out the window. In my sage teenage wisdom, I thought I had proved the ultimate point. But my dad had a different idea. He slammed the brakes, slowly bowed his head while gripping the steering wheel, and finally looked at me. All he said, like it was a polite request, was, "Make this right." I sat there in silence, fuming, but I eventually got out and combed every square inch of the woods, muttering profanity after profanity. I found it 30 minutes later, near a small waterfall off the road. I went back to the truck, put the wet tape back in, and sure enough it worked. We didn't speak another word to each other the rest of the night.
Wow, I knew you were a crazy teenager, but
It's hard to believe, isn't it? It surprises me too. It's like I didn't really know who that kid was back then. I bet my dad thought the same thing over and over. It's almost like he was saying, "Make this right," to himself, more than to me.
Get up there. I think there was a way to run on the other side. Best thing to go. Maybe the rocks over here. I'm not sure how to get up here. I don't really see a convenient place to jump. I think there's a bunch of lights. Dark. Just no because I don't get enough like distance when I jump. Well, oh, I do. Nice. Oh, achievement, collect 50 stars. That's stars. That's just been called with lights. Stars. Is that achievement? I will drive it, I guess, of course. You need to stop overusing resources. Constantly say, "I guess," after everything. Like, anyway, after everything. Speak better. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of opportunity to speak in this thing. It's just like the listening expedition. Wait, I need all three of them. Oh my god, that's the point. That's what it is. Okay, so maybe I need the ones near the waterfall first, because I cannot get them without jumping, and then I go and pick up the other three. So you can stack them, is basically the idea. Man, I always jump the gun to get rid of these. I jump the gun, and then like I try to find something here that's supposed to be used over there. Just had dinner and I'm already craving like dessert of some sort. I try to eat healthy meals and I end up having cravings from time to time. Okay, I'm gonna have an entire swarm of butterflies on me now. Just need you guys. Oh no. Oh no. Is there no way up without jumping? This should be it. There we go. What do you call it? A group of butterflies? It's not a pack.
My friends would laugh about that night and talk about how crazy it was, and I laughed along, pretending it didn't bother me. But it did. I imagined my friends growing old in the bush, unable to find that thrill in those godforsaken ice fields. It's like those mountains were a literal wall, keeping me from leaving, where all I would have to look forward to are lumber yards and evening beers. I had to climb over. That was my only goal for a long time.
That was some fantastic timing though. I have to plan over just as I climbed over the wall.
If there was some way I could take my love of drawing and turn it into a way of escape, nothing would make me happier. I wanted to create instead of tearing trees down. I wanted to move to the lower 48, not because I hated it there in Alaska, but I hated the idea of it. It's like all of that spite inside me had created this monster which followed me around my whole teenage years. I put so much energy into doing what others didn't expect of me. Why did I do that?
There's one fact you're forgetting, though. If you didn't have that fire in you, we probably would have never met.
You're absolutely right. Maybe the destination is all that matters in the end. But then why am I awake? Why am I seeing this fox go on her journey? And why can't I stop thinking about my dad?
Wait. Oh. Okay then. I'm sure I missed something in the environment if this is actually a way to continue. Wait, is that the tree? Is it this short of a game? I mean, I guess it makes sense. Wait, I'm not supposed to go to the tree. This is the path. Let's forget we're looking for two cubs. And one was dead for some reason. And there's other two. I wonder what the significance of that is. I do genuinely like these kinds of stories where everything's a metaphor for something else. Like, I enjoy stuff like poetry as well. The more pretentious, so to say, books are very enjoyable to me. In terms of the music, I prefer music with some thought-provoking lyrics. My favorite group's Nightwish, though. Absolutely adore Devin Townsend's music, which is also he writes music purely to express himself at that given moment, instead of just trying to do music that people will like. Like especially in recent years, he only makes the stuff that's what his particular mindset and at that point in time is, which makes for some completely like different albums from the previous ones. Like it just depends on how he's feeling. So like Quarantine has made such a huge lasting effect on people, and that's reflected in the type of music he makes. Like it's so good. It's an absolute genius, if you ask me. Okay, what is this? Cowboy? Okay, I've got it. How to see? Let's find more beats. Is that actually necessary to complete forward, or is it like a collectible? I wonder. Let's explore the forest. See the trees and bushes that pop into existence as we approach the necessary draw distance. I imagine those drops only in elevated places, so not going to get every single corner of the map, so that would be too much.
On our property, there were old abandoned pieces of a shed and car long left unused. I used to ask him all the time who those people were that left all this junk, and I'm sure he got so tired of hearing it that he made up some elaborate stories how a brown bear ate them and haunted the woods afterwards. What's funny is I think it made those people seem more real. Growing up thinking they were still hanging out like they couldn't say goodbye. I used to tell my friends how I could swear I saw spirits move near the water, and that always freaked them out. I guess it didn't bother me, because the way I saw it, they were normal people with old cars and sheds, just trying to figure out how to survive and be happy in the middle of nowhere. It was a cool thought that they didn't want to leave, but you know, I was a weird kid.
Well, you had good company since those ghosts like living in a place where they were brutally devoured.
Quite insane. Like I said, kids are fearless. Kids are less like to be scared of like stuff like horror games. Yes. Because I know that when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, horror movies and stuff. I never particularly liked horror games even as a child, though. But now I'm bad with even horror movies. Like, I don't think I can do horror anymore. I only grow more like what's the word? Soft, I guess. I only grow softer with age instead of harder.
Even at my most distant, at the times when I detested him the most, he kept reaching out. For a year straight, he asked me every week when we were going camping. I thought he was just dense. Eventually, to shut him up, I agreed. We carried out the worn lawn chairs from the garage and set up a cinder block campfire at the site we'd always used behind the house. We walked down the mountain path, talking in the warm sunshine we only got a couple months of the year. Those 3 obsidian rocks shimmered alongside the shore, almost like sparklers pressed against a dark window. I'll never forget that wet stone on my feet, or how those massive mountains looked even bigger in the lake's reflection. I felt small, but grateful. As the sun set, my dad found something I hadn't seen for a long time. The tree where I'd made my first carving when I was 6. I hadn't even carved it. My dad had helped me, but I still called it my tree. Something about seeing my name there made me open up, and we talked about everything that night in that old camouflage tent. I told him how much I loved sketching and design, and how it would be a dream to study architecture in Seattle. I told him how I didn't get along with my friends much anymore, but that I didn't mind being alone. He told me he was there for me, and he joked that if all he had to do was write my name on a tree to finally get me to talk, he would have left me carved logs with novels on them in front of my room every morning. I don't know why it took me that long to realize it, but it was then I knew how much he had sacrificed for me.
Here's another one. I had to wait for this one because I guess it was gonna interrupt the previous text.
My dad built a lot of stuff in his free time. If he wasn't watching fly fishing or reading Tom Clancy novels, he was carving something.
Over there, so
He made tons of birdhouses. Not that he was into bird watching, but I think he really missed working and adding on to the home. If he couldn't afford the time to build onto our own house, he would have to settle with watching birds move into their little homes. We kept an old mattress in the bed of that ugly yellow truck, so we would drive it deep into the woods and then watch the birds fly into their houses while the sun set. Usually it was accompanied by venison jerky or a cold Coke, but not a lot of talking, which is how we both liked it.
and these kind of stories are very nice. Often people are just impatient to these kinds of slow storytelling. But also it's not what people are looking for in games sometimes. When I see people complain about walking simulators, but like, I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, that's fair, I guess. It doesn't mean that the thing itself is bad. I think there is a place for this type of storytelling in video games. I think it's very much a valid choice to tell a story in such a way. Some people are gonna say like, if it's just gonna be storytelling with minimal gameplay, why not just write it as a story, as a short story? Like, but that's not what they want to do. They want to make it a video game experience that you can actually experience instead of just read. And you can also make the argument that but this isn't much experience in it if you're just walking and hearing the story. But like it's a compromise, if you ask me, between gameplay and storytelling. And like if you can make the story more centered around the gameplay itself, that would probably be better. But like sometimes you just want that simple experience of telling a story, hearing a story in case you are playing one. And like you just have to set your expectations right. I think. So I think it's still fine to tell this story in such a way. Let's see what's in here.
We were happiest underneath the evergreens. We decided it was time to finally map out the hundreds of acres we lived on just to pass the time during the summer. He was only free in the evenings, so I would spend the day wasting time on dial-up internet and sketching, and then we would rush into the woods, pen and map in hand, before evening fell. Sometimes, the aurora borealis would cast a cold green glow on the mountainside, and we would finish our route underneath a twilight sky. Sometimes I was lonely during those summer days, but there was comfort in the routine.
A lot of teenagers aren't looking for the daily grind, though. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get out, to leave your childhood home. You wanted to progress, to make something of yourself.
Yeah, you're right. That house. I'm sure it's the same as how I left it. But then why does it feel so different?
I doubt you're the only adult to have looked back and asked that question.
that seems to be it. Oh, you're stuck now. Definitely stuck. Yeah, I'm a bit confused now. As to where to go. There is something there. This is up there, but I don't think I have the means to go there. It's more like still there. Because I think this is beyond the path that's locked. I'm happy to be playing this game actually, because it's the type of game that like there's no point in making a YouTube video for. I feel like there's nothing that I can tell here that like not everyone else hasn't already. Also, it's the type of thing that you should probably just experience for yourself. Like I'm just going to play through this game and that's it. So the vault is gonna go on it anyway. Keeping all of the stuff still available. Okay, I've definitely missed something. Okay, there's something over there that I've completely glossed over. Let's go and see what it might be. So messed up. I think that I can go faster if I jump, but that's completely not the case. Because if you jump, it just stops you dead in your tracks after a little distance has passed. After you pass this small distance. Okay, let's see what I've missed. Something around here. Isn't this exactly the one that I got though? What the hell? It's actually the other way. This is the one that I did get. So there is a way to go beyond the rocks and the other way. I'm just very inattentive and I completely missed it, I guess. Unless it's hidden somewhere in the forest itself, which would be quite evil. This is the mattress I get. It passed by here on the way. Oh man, I'm already so lost. I'm just not aware of what is happening around me. I keep thinking how I can't wait for like at least a year to pass and be streaming every week, just so that I can gather the experience and be able to speak more confidence, speak more clearly, because that's something you gather with experience. I love going back and hearing the old voices of streamers that I like, because I see how they also sounded quite awkward at the start, as much as how I sound right now. I'm very aware of it, but also fishing boat. I'm very aware of how awkward I may sound all of the times. Not only because of my lack of proper English, speak with such an accent after all, but like more than that is the fact that I don't yet have the confidence to speak as clearly as I should be. That's one of the things that like sets apart experienced streamers from inexperienced ones, from what I've seen. Like the most obvious thing is like they just speak more clearly, with more confidence, and with more ease. They don't sound like they're straining themselves, they just sound very natural. Okay, there is a path to the rocks. I'm just very blind. Very blind. Ah! Okay. Let's do it again. I forget that there's like after a certain time has passed you cannot do anything else. Is there anything here or is it a dead end? There is more stuff here. There is no dead end, I guess it's just a way around. A way around the rock. 80? Almost up to 100. Maybe there's exactly 100 of them in the game. If it's not 100, it's probably gonna be like 200. This doesn't feel like it's gonna be a super long game, so we're probably more than halfway done with it already. Okay, come on. Wait for it. Activate all the obsidian rocks and up the way. And I'll go back and actually continue all this. Despite the fact that I said that I enjoy like indie games a lot, and I think that it's a fantastic way for creators to tell a personal story. Like the two indie games that I've played so far have not been like, you know, up there. Like I wouldn't say Here Comes Nico or this game is anywhere near like the top of my favorite indie games I've played. You know, it's a bit of a shame because I'm starting off my streaming career, so to speak, with two games that I don't think are like that amazing, at least so far with this one. But Here Comes Nico, since I finished it, I can definitely say that it was a little bit underwhelming. Maybe I will actually go back and play some of my favorite stuff on stream. Like I said, my favorite games, my favorite indie games, short tiny indie games, Short Hike and Unpacking. I think that they're masterfully crafted their stories. Oh, and even stuff like Firewatch, I think it's very much up there. That's another game. I was talking with a friend recently whom I lived with in a dormitory at one point. He tells me how in the middle of the night he woke up as I was playing Firewatch, and he just saw me sit in silence and cry in the darkness while playing Firewatch. And I've completely forgotten my first experience with Firewatch. That was way back in 2016 or 17, so like 5 or 6 years ago. I've forgotten it, but apparently I really cried when I played Firewatch. So maybe I should play it again, even though I somewhat recently experienced it again when I saw RT Game play it. So I watched him play it. I'm stuck on it, okay. So like, I'm not... I don't know if I've forgotten enough of it to enjoy it as much. Probably gonna feel repetitive to me because I don't particularly enjoy replaying stuff unless I really like them, which I guess I really like Firewatch, which should be fine. Also, is that a wolf? Am I just going to die if I go there?
The perpetrator stood nearby, unfazed, like nothing was wrong. My dad is dead, and he's never coming back, Rachel. I can tell you these stories, but I can never reminisce with him again. He can never hold a grandchild that we'll probably never be able to have. I can never talk to him again, and I'll never be able to say I'm sorry. For everything.
Oh fuck. I might have been a bit premature in saying anything about this game. I really need to wait to the end before I say that it's not living up to what I expected of it. Oh man, it's very sad. Okay, that's the second puppet. What was the first one then? This one, because that's the father. Because there's three little foxes. Oh my god. Okay, now get revenge for the dad. Come back here. I'm gonna catch you. Oh! Oh my god. Okay, now that's more interesting. That's a nice switch of pace. Nope. I want it. I don't want to miss any if possible. Okay, oh, look at this now. Oh, that's very nice. It is over there actually. And I guess I'm like halfway. It appears to be twice as close as it was before. I messed it up again. Okay. I think that's it. Jump down. That's very steep. We're not going to live that. It's sort of like when Mupato is trying to not fall in the ravine. I almost feel like Scar is going to come and just push him off. Okay, let's go then. We're running at an almost 90 degrees angle. This shouldn't be possible. This should not be possible. Anything else, Kiddo? Probably not. Quite evil. Okay, let's catch the perpetrator. The bastard ran away. That was quite a long walk. I'm gonna have another seat transition, or at least the next area actually interconnected. I feel like it might not. Switch areas twice. A very, very sudden way to look at it again. Maybe this one is longer, some metaphorical reason. Yeah. The first area was winter. The second one was autumn. This one seems to be summer all around. Let's go to the next side. I feel like it's actually going to end right there though. Felt like a bit longer than the other ones. The plot is starting to develop a lot more, so I guess it makes sense.
I need to go to bed. I just can't talk about this anymore. Good night.
I don't know what it says. That's the path forward. Is there anything over there? I feel like I might waste my time to go there. I'm too curious. I want to see. be collectibles. Collectibles are more important than the dramatic story about my parents' death. That you're simply telling you. Yeah, I could be wasting my time. I feel like I am. There doesn't seem to be anything here. But I will go up because I'm stubborn. Shouldn't have allowed me. If there's nothing here, you just shouldn't have allowed me to go up here. Oh, I see that the trees are starting to really struggle to connect with the rocks. They're growing out of the rocks, actually. That seems logical. Oh, yeah, there it is. There's an invisible wall. Wonderful. I probably am unable to go out of bounds over there. Yeah, I wasted my time. Okay, let's try and move the pot forward. They gave us some time to reflect on the news of the parents' death. I guess that was the point of this extra bit. After we finish what's essentially the main part of this area. This whole part is just to give you time to think. Instead, I'm using the time to try and break out of bounds because I'm horrible. Oh. Okay, now where the hell? Hold on though, I need to pause for just a second. I need to turn on a light. Okay, I am back. Let's go back to wherever this is. I don't
Joseph,
feel like we're in
You
Kansas
can't go to
anymore.
sleep feeling like this. I'm sorry for everything, and I know you need space, but I'm here for you. You don't need to feel so lost. Joseph, have I ever told you what my mother was like? You know what it's like not to have a mom at home. And you know how hard that made my childhood. What helped me was watching the birds in the morning before the school bus came. I thought that my mother was one of those birds, and it made me want to be free like her. My mom taught me how to fold origami cranes while she was in the hospital. So I told myself I would fold one every day until I could fly myself. I think we both have always loved animals, and for me that love started with a dog. Sometimes this Rottweiler would come up to our property line and wait at the fence for me, but only once in a while. I was sure to check every day immediately after school, and it usually ended in disappointment. I would even steal money from my passed-out dad just so I could buy these off-brand dog biscuits. Even when she did stop by, she never went beyond the fence. Why was she so scared? I think my dad was the opposite of your dad in almost every way, except he was in the military as well. He coped with alcohol of every kind. The trailer started falling apart, he got angry, and I withdrew. More and more, I became the weird, quiet kid who made lots of origami birds and carried dog biscuits around. I think we were pretty similar when it came to being the weird kids. And that same sincerity in college was one of the reasons I was so drawn to you. Life got worse and worse, and at one point, I really didn't think I could survive another day with my soul still intact. I had no real friends, let alone neighbors, since we lived in the middle of nowhere. I should have talked to my teacher, but I was scared what he would do if he found out. As I waited for the school bus one morning, I walked around until I found something in an abandoned shed. Something I can't put into words. You have strength, Joseph, and you're not as alone as you think.
It's all just so pointless. Just waiting for life to happen. It's like having the home I always wanted is cursed out of my reach. The thought of being a parent myself. How could I do that when I couldn't even be a good son? I'm sorry. I know what you're saying. I just don't know how things will work out. These quiet hours will turn into years. We'll wonder which roads passed us by.
Then we'll forge a new road together. Besides, I discovered for myself that one fateful morning where any hopeful road leads to. There may be thorns and mist, but it always leads to the same thing.
And what's that?
Family.
I'm so glad that you're part of my family, Rachel.
And I'm glad you're part of mine.
Also well behind these reach all these tears. Just as they start to talk about that. And yes, whenever I take it seriously, I really take it seriously. And I get the exact experience they intended. The Blair. That's the other thing about people not enjoying focusing renting games. One, that they don't take it seriously, two, that they mess around with it too much. Just, nothing can maintain the game. I feel like if you, when games allow you freedom, you should use it and have as much fun as you can. But if you play a game not as intended, then you really cannot blame the maker of the game because you're not having fun. It's like buying a basketball and trying to play football with that ball. And you complain that the ball is not good actually because you're trying to do something else with it than what it's intended to do. Which is, come on, please. Trying to entangle a relationship with her father and his death and what's evil we want from life now. Because sometimes you have the stuff that you need to be happy, but you're not. And it's very, very messed up and it makes you feel like wasting everything. Like it should have been given to someone else. Yep, 100 stars. Kidnap for Kino. Like moments of being the story being heartwarming and very serious, and then it's like, oh yes, achievements. Gotta get the platinum trophy by collecting all of the stars. It's like trying to traumatize myself more efficiently and get Steam points. It's always funny when it's super serious topic in games and you get like an achievement right at that point. It is a game after all, so it's part of what makes games at this point, the achievements. Like almost every single console has them, so like I don't think it really takes that much away from the experience. That's just like what games are like. Except Nintendo Switch, like they don't like achievements for some reason.
The fox knew her last cub would be waiting for her at the first tree. She was almost there. The rain cascaded onto the Jade Valley where the entrance to the tree was. Life was protected there, because that's where life began. It was now only a mother and a daughter left. Items from my life still dotted the ground as she moved closer to her destination and destiny. At the end of high school, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Drive. I looked into the best architecture schools on the West Coast, then got a dose of reality when looking at other students' portfolios and the high cost of tuition. I still wanted to be something, to be the next Alvaro Siza, and to make those thousands of sketches worth something in my grand history. But now even an internship sounds impossible. Siza helped me understand how essential emotion is in architecture, and he also said light is the real composer of space. I like to think these glints of light, like not finding a job or even a strange dream about a fox, are something I should be thankful for, even if the illuminated space is something I'm less than comfortable with.
Everything is basically something to be appreciated to a certain extent. Like just the fact that you're out there experiencing like this isn't just by every single evil thing happening obviously now. Like some things really shouldn't happen, but like there's like no good amount of truth in the saying. I don't know if it's just a Bulgarian saying, like the fact that even bad things can lead to good results or good outcomes, basically. Try to make the best out of really bad experiences can teach you a lot about yourself.
My dad was super supportive with my college plans, to a point. Things were okay until this terrible accident happened. I guess a forklift flipped over due to a bad axle, and it crushed one of the workers there. My dad didn't eat for days, even though he wasn't directly involved. It devastated him. Not only did it hurt the business, but it just freaked him out. He would talk in his sleep, muttering things about firing people and saying sorry. One fateful day he approached me, said that since my school search wasn't going well, I should finally be a man and take over the family business. He said one day he was going to die, and that all of his work, sacrifice, and even that man's life would be wasted in vain. I just lost it. Teenage me just exploded at the thought. I screwed up. I said things I shouldn't have. He was having a crisis, and I pretty much spit in his face.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand what the other person is going through. Like, you might be pretty perfect by what they say, but that doesn't mean that you try to understand the other person. Because then you might, if you don't, you might hurt them in return. That's just another good outcome. They go to the house now. Feels like, no, it's probably not going to be here. Probably not. I don't. I will go. I'm already here anyway. No, I mean the space is kind of twisted. It's worse, so it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, but I guess there's no entrance or anything. Who designed the house? That? This area is very silent. Leaving me alone with my thoughts, that's never a good idea. I feel like the stream name is inappropriate at this point. Change it to something that's a bit more respectful. At this point in time, I feel like saying it is just a little guy. It's a bit not the best. Just like this would be good. I'll probably throw the box on this as well. Just, you know, a little bit less insensitive now. I wasn't exactly aware of the plot of this when I loaded it up. I was like, hey, you play as a fox, it must be a cute game. Cute game. Absolutely romantic. This is probably, I don't feel like, oh. I do probably at this point like it more than You Can Sleep, despite the fact that the gameplay is practically non-existent. I do enjoy the way the story is told a lot more. Nico left me feeling like the story was not complete. And who knows, maybe you're supposed to 100% the game in order to understand everything, but like, I don't feel like playing more of it. I have my fill already. Get this and then I'll go back for the lights.
Was that the last time you talked to him?
No, I called on holidays, and he would call on my birthday. I guess we acted like nothing ever happened, which was stupid. Didn't want to ask about his lumberyard, and I'm sure he didn't want to ask about my job search. I never went back and visited. I think the last conversation we had was about what movies we had seen and what exactly a best boy is in the credits. I thought he would be here so much longer.
Yeah, the achievement I got was you got all of the main items in the game. I guess does it count some items as skippables because it said all main items. There's probably an achievement for getting all of the lights, which I do not think I managed to find. Some of them are hidden like this. maybe it's 150 then if we're so near the end. Because I said if it's not going to be 100 then it's gonna be 200 and it will also be just 150. Can I give it back up here? It feels kind of steep. Yeah, I managed it. There's something here. I probably cannot go over these rocks. I almost couldn't get even these. Okay, yeah, this is there. So the path forward is over there. Okay, I cannot reach that huge house. It's up on a cliff and it's inaccessible. So let's continue onwards. It's probably the final act of the game. Yep, this is probably the first trick. Stars. Maybe there's some more. Maybe I've missed link. How much of it can be around? Oh. Well.
In the distance, the first tree illuminated the wasteland. She couldn't go home anymore. She did the only thing she was capable of. Moving forward. My dad died alone in the middle of the wilderness. I should have been talking to him more. I should have done a lot of things differently.
If the first tree on Earth brought life with it, if it taught the birds to sing and fly and showed saplings how to grow, what could it do for us?
Just a second, I'm very embarrassed that I made a stupid mistake in the stream title. I'm sorry. Back to sadness.
There was a letter I received yesterday from a name I didn't recognize, with a quote I can't stop thinking about. Death is not the opposite of life, but a part of it. More and more, I'm realizing one important truth. Each of us have our own journey to the first tree, but sometimes I'm not sure I'm ready to take that first step.
You already have my love.
guess her journey was over. But I have no idea. It was only a dream, a distraction from tomorrow.
I don't think dreams normally bring back to memory so many important feelings. Maybe it was just a dream, but it was also a gift.
Yeah, I suppose. But tomorrow we're getting on a plane to the last place on Earth I want to be. The only person that would have made the trip worth it is gone.
You're going to see him and be with him one last time before you say goodbye. I have one last quote for you by Emerson, sealed in an imaginary letter from me to you. It is the secret of the world that all things subsist and do not die, but only retire a little from sight and afterward return again. Go to sleep, my love. We have a big day tomorrow, but I'll be there with you every step of the way.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. Good night, Rachel.
Good night, Joseph.
And I guess that was it. The fox, I guess, was the father all along, conveying all of his knowledge to his son in the form of a dream. Or at least that's how our main character is experiencing it. 6 months later. Now we're humans. We're human. Oh. Yeah, that's how humans sleep. Oh my god. I increased the sensitivity for the fox and now it's too much for the human. They will move. No reflection. Clearly a vampire. Place looks pretty run down. Is that the old house? Where you used to do that? That's some really bright moonlight. Yeah. It still feels a bit fast and yellow. Turn on the lights or something. I see the fox outside or something like that. So they're making a baby. Oh. That the fox is a drum now. And this is two people from what they can see and the fox. Or is it two foxes? Renovation is in progress, I guess. I'm very confused still. Maybe just go outside. Yeah. Moving truck. Oh, I can do the same thing as the human now. Is there a whole new section now, just the human? Am I just gonna run through the forest like a madman? This is a homestead, I guess. Okay, I'm not allowed to leave. I'm not completely lost with trespassers. I guess they used to live like in the forest. So, don't fall. Jesus, so this is Alaska, I guess they came back to Alaska. Maybe he realized he liked the mountain. Very unsure of where to go. Oh. Oh my god. That's the old pickup truck. Now the plate has to be more realistic. Wait, what? I just feel like a horror game movie, so this noise is so scary. Place here. Oh, this is where you used to go with your dad. That's not the right way. Here, I guess. There's another building here. I'm genuinely starting to get freaked out by this. What if the murderer comes back? He was killed in the forest. Gabe, please. Please. Why is this scaring all of a sudden? I'm gonna get a fucking heart attack from this game. Why am I just out in the middle of the night? I'm guessing that's what the game wants me to do. And like, I'm very confused. Like, there's no other way for me to go at the moment. So I don't know what the game wants. Oh, there's a path here. Is there? Oh, there's not. I'm gonna get stepped out of bounds because I don't know where to go. And like the game is going to punish me for this. Should I be clicking on stuff? I'm actually so lost. Like, there is a fence here. There's no way for me to go further. This is a lot harder as a human. Take me back to being a fox, please. Like, as a human, I cannot even double jump. Yeah, that's so sad. Is this somehow it? Oh my god, I was supposed to click on the tent and enter. Maybe I just can't fall asleep. I need to go outside for a little bit.
What the hell?
Oh, I got scared. Fox. This has to be another drink or something. Oh. Game, please.
is this?
Is this gonna be someone else's message? Just my own. It's something else. It would be pretty cool if that's a message someone else left and see what they wrote. It's always very nice when a game does something like this. Kind of like a less insane version of Nier Automata. And that was the first three. I can never say the word correctly. I'm sorry. Three. Directed and written by David Well. Very well written. Voices by David and Elise Well, and that's very sweet as well. And music, very nice music. Additional music by Message to Bears, I know that band. They make some pretty good post-rock music. listen to them on YouTube. Special thanks to people listening by made in Unity. The stuff you can do in Unity, it's pretty good. Like Eternal Phantom. Finish the game. Would you like to anonymously submit your statement to the first tree to an online moderated database? It may appear randomly to other players. Yes. Go and take my message, show my stupid philosophizing to other people. And that was it. Just under 2 hours. Finished the game. It's a very, very nice experience. That would be it for tonight. Next stream is the Gacha Wednesday. I'll probably play more Honkai Star Rail because the summer event in Genshin is done. I still want to make videos for both the Genshin and the Honkai Star Rail streams if I have the time, along with the Here Comes Riku. That makes 3 videos, so I'm kinda glad that I don't need to make a video from this one. I still don't know what I'm gonna be doing on Friday. Maybe I will finally play Oxenfree and then get the second one, because why not? I mean, it's a good game. I really liked Oxenfree. Actually, Oxenfree, since I played it before, I know that I really like it. It's still, if I have to rate things, rating things is like kinda lame. But like I do quite like Oxenfree a lot then. Like when I played it, I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoyed Here Comes Riku or the first 3. Simply because it has good gameplay, good art style, an interesting story, alternative endings, your choices affect the ending. It's just all of the good stuff. And also it's a horror game that's not too scary for me. I really like Oxenfree, so yeah. Friday is Oxenfree, I'm deciding it. Okay, anyway, thanks for anyone who dropped by, and I'll see you next time.